All right, well, let's call this meeting to order. It is 5:02 p.m. on October 7th, 2020. This is a special workshop, administrative workshop. We are in the wonderful city of Port Orford in the Gable Chambers. And I'd like to call this meeting to order. If you would please join me and rise in our Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
John's not coming, yeah. So just so you know, when you come up to make your comments to this microphone here, hit the little button on there, and that'll make sure it lights the mic. Public comments will be listed or limited to 2.5 minutes because we have people out in the cold and the fog and everything else, so we want to kind of move it along. Do we have any amendments to the agenda?
None. I move we approve the agenda as written.
Second, Chair Pash. Roll, please.
Commissioner Gold.
Aye.
Vice Chair Boyce.
Yes.
Chair Pash.
Aye.
Motion carried unanimously.
We'll make sure your mic's on, Commissioners, so that it's on the record. All right, so next we are looking at projects. A, Lakeshore Road at Lake Floras. We have Richard Christensen, our roadmaster, here, if you would, sir. Make sure your mic's on.
Hello, Commissioners. I called this meeting today because the last 2.5 years we've received many customer requests and complaints, and there's been plenty of problems down at the dead end of Lakeshore Drive. And would like to board to help me decide what to do with the end of the right-of-way there. There are issues with parking, there's issues with access to the lake, there's issues with turning around vehicles. ODFW needs it as access for stocking fish. There's people that would like the road to be developed into a fully boat ramp. There's folks that just want to be able to access the shore there for to go fishing or launch their kayaks. And there's adjacent property owners are having problems with folks that are trespassing on their property, going down there doing things that are inappropriate, looting, having fires, camping. And so there's plenty of problems. And so what the road department would like to do is try to bring this access into to conform with road standards with a T turnaround, so emergency vehicles can turn around, and create a access for ODFW to be able to plant fish, but to gate that access, and also to sign it with no parking, emergency traffic, turn around, and signage with no camping, no fires, no littering type. And so I just wanted the community to be able to respond to that and to see what they would like and help the commissioners help me make a decision.
I have 2 questions right off, if I could. Were you going, did I read that you were also going to make, I know you said you were going to close the gate there. There would be a walkway for people to still go down to the lake there?
Yes. We would make sure that folks could walk in there, but they could not take a truck.
Okay. And the other question I had, I read part of the piece on this. Edith and Owen Smith were the landowners that donated this property. Do you know when they bequeathed what did they completely describe what they hoped for the property? I know they did it for access to the lake, from what I read. But like when I bought my property, I bought it. That was in trust also. So the previous owners had something that they wanted done in perpetuity with the property. Do you know if that's on this property as well?
I do not know that.
Okay.
I understand it's a 50-foot undeveloped right of way.
Yeah, I just know that the Smiths had donated it for the use of swimmers, a dock, if wanted, and a picnic area, and no overnight. So that's what I read in my briefing of what they wanted. I didn't know if there was anything more of that maybe someone here may know about, that wasn't in the writing.
I think it said public access, was on that thing adjacent.
Okay, so those are my questions, so if you don't know, that's fine. So, go ahead, Commissioner.
I just have another question. The property owners that are adjacent to the easement, or whatever you want to call it, a road, do they put up no trespassing signs to take care of some of the problems they've been describing?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
There's no signs down there at all. There's some corner pins that need to be relocated or refound, and adjacent property owner Bonnie Cornell helped me find a couple of them. And to move this project forward, if it's decided to do this as I'm describing it, is I would hire a local surveyor, Rich Roberts, for $2,500 to find all the corner pins to help me design a T turnaround that would conform to that access. And it doesn't, when I look at it, I don't want the T standard with me. We'd have to receive a variance from the Curry County Planning Department because we would be short 10 feet on one of the legs on the T access. But talking with Becky Crockett of the Planning Department, we would be able to get a variance for that standard.
Good. You have anything, Commissioner? Okay, so, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just have one other question relative to the cost of this. Is that within your budget?
I think I could absorb it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so at this time, we're going to open public comments. Again, we'd like to keep them at 2.5 minutes. When you'll see a yellow light come on, that'll tell you only got about 15 or 20 seconds left, and of course, when the red light comes on, that means your time is up. Ms. Velisis, you're first. And make sure that mic's on, please.
Is this working? Okay. It's so good to see you all up here. Thank you for coming. I am actually going to take a quick tangent to raise a different issue, which is just to remind you that the Floras Lake Land Exchange, that the agreement we had with the state requires it to be done by the end of this year. And there's still a few steps needed to be done, which is the land partition. So I just wanted to remind you of that, and because I'm hoping we can make sure to get it done. I think it would be a great accomplishment for this board. And I know Ms. Schmelzer is going to be leaving. She just told me it's not until the end of the year. I wasn't clear on that, but I just would love to make sure we get it done before the end of this year. So I wanted to just alert you to that so that we can help to make sure it doesn't fall through the cracks. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Bonnie Cornell. Good evening.
Hi. Bonnie Cornell. I live at 92811 Lakeshore Drive, which is right next to the road. And I've lived there 18 years. And for 18 years, we've maintained the road there. We just need to stop the people from driving down there. It's not the local people, it's the people from out of town, they just don't know. They drive down there, they set up tents, they go on either Robin's property, Robin Blackstone's property is on the other side, or mine. She has no trespassing signs up. It's just some kind of gate there and some kind of signage further north as well to stop people from coming and driving down there or using people's driveways for turnarounds, and they're just damaging things because they just don't know. And we've had a lot of problems. People getting stuck down there. It's just a problem.
Ms. Cornell, can I ask, are there any barriers on the side, on the property line, like a fence or something dividing
We
your
do not
property?
have any barriers. It's all natural. It's all wild. I think Richard's idea with the little gate and walk-through gate for the public to go down there, and signage would be a good idea. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Question?
You said Robin? I didn't get that last name.
Blackstone.
Thank you very much.
She lives next, on the other property next.
Thank you, Ms. Cornell.
Thank you. Gary McDonald? Good evening, sir.
Good evening to you, sir. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for listening. I live 2 houses back, 92845, and my concern, I have several concerns about the existing situation and then the plan. I basically agree with the gentleman's plan as to what to do. Unfortunately, I didn't hear any comment about where the parking is going to exist for people who choose to come. We have a number of folks who drive down, even though there's a sign posted that says no RV turnaround, they come down there with their RVs, with boats, and there is no way for them to turn around. Perhaps the T that you're talking about would solve that problem, but the folks who come there to use the lake, where are they going to park? So they're going to be parking on the road. There are several small children that live on that street, and cars that are parked on the street, that presents a danger for those children. It just doesn't work. There are no toilet facilities, so you can imagine what that's going to lead to. It's kind of like a half project that was never finished, and then, but one of the reasons it just doesn't work for a residential area with residents right up to where that gate would be, and then to attempt to make some kind of a park. It just doesn't work. And I don't have a magic answer, but I think your approach to have a gate to allow the fish plant to exist is an excellent idea, and we would certainly be in favor of that, but limit it to that, and do something to prevent others from driving down there. There's another put-in at the other end of the lake that's very adequate for boats, kayaks, jet skis, and so forth, so we don't really need something on that end of the lake. Especially if it's not set up to function as it should be with toilet facilities, etc.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I would like to kind of comment on the parking, and
Sure.
there's really no room for parking there, as we have a 50-foot right-of-way, but 30 feet of that right-of-way is natural vegetation with trees and bushes, and there's nowhere to create, if we tore out all that vegetation to create parking, like parallel parking, like dirt shoulders or gravel shoulders, we'd just destroy the neighborhood and the look of the whole neighborhood. So, I mean, the road department's not looking at making this like a public access. It's always been utilized as a local access for the local adjacent property owners that they could walk down there. So we're not looking at creating any type of parking. And, you know, we were actually looking at where this T turnaround would be. We would install no parking signs, like fire lane type signage, and make it where, you know, what we could do, you know, is maybe if folks wanted, we could put a bike rack in there or something where they could put their bike and walk down or something, but there's really no room for parking.
Commissioner Gold?
Could there be signage somewhere back on the road so people will know there's no parking? Bikes are welcome, walkers welcome, something like that, because I don't think we should cut off access for people, but I can understand your consternation and concerns about the...
We could definitely sign it and put in trucks and trailers, no turnaround, and, you know, like they do on other mountain roads type thing.
Okay, good. All right, next we have Jay Mills.
Yeah, my name's Jay Mills, representing Robin Blackstone, who's property owner on the southeast corner of the end of that road, the public right-of-way. The public right-of-way that goes down to the lake is unimproved. So the asphalt ends prior to the road changing direction and moving down to the lake, or at least the public right-of-way. There is signage further north of getting on into the residential area that talks about dead end, no turnaround, no lake access. In fact, there's three signs all stacked together on one pole, I believe, that say that. But that's several hundred yards to the north of where the road really changes character and becomes residential as you move down to that very southern point of the lake where the homes are. So, I mean, a consideration could be maybe a stop sign where that road changes direction, and move those signs that you already have on that long road from Boyce Cope and the real access to Floras Lake down to where that stop sign is located. So people actually have a moment to stop, pause, and read the damn things as they pass by them, because I don't think that people are very conscientious or perceptive of the signage that's there. They hope that there's an access to the southern portion of that lake. And there is, but it's primarily on a pedestrian level, not a vehicular, and not for use other than what has become more of a small neighborhood with a lot of still forested overgrowth into that right of way. So, you know, I think all the property owners, as well as Robin, would still like to see physical access to the lake, but on a pedestrian or bike level, not vehicular. So I really believe that the issue becomes a vehicular issue. Since when you get down in there, even though you do have a 50-foot public right-of-way, there really isn't room to maneuver before you start hitting trees and people's, and even potentially people's fences or property. It's really tight down there. I'm somewhat concerned about the idea of a T turnaround, because T turnaround takes up a lot of space. Even a turnabout or a cul-de-sac. You only got 50 feet of right-of-way. It's awfully difficult to turn around the vehicles that are of scale that move down that road, not knowing they don't have any access. So that's my 2 cents.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
There are others outside.
Yes, yeah, thank you.
They probably weren't, I don't think they were able to hear anything we talked about.
Thank you, sir. You might as well just take the hot seat.
How many others are out there that are wanting to make
There's only
comments?
one other that I know
Okay, so they
All
might
right.
want to come in case there's something said they want to
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah,
I just told Julie to tell him to come in.
come on in.
So we don't have to
of.
repeat
He was standing, you want me
ourselves.
to go tell him? I don't know if they.
Yeah.
No, Julie went to get him.
Oh, John, yeah, you can come in.
Okay.
My name's Norm Bolduck. Should I start, or? I live in Bandon. I've had a place at Floras Lake for like 30 years with a dock and stuff. And I'm friends with Bonnie and all that, but I feel this is wrong. I think it should stay public. I think it should stay accessible to everybody that wants it. I've windsurfed and kited and done all the stuff down there for 30 years. And it hasn't been a problem, you know. I went down there the other day and looked at it. It's just like it has been, except grown over a little more. Maybe you guys looked at it too. But it's a steep road going down. I did make it out with two-wheel drive, but I don't think it should be restricted. I've used it a number of times as like we call it a self-rescue place when something, or for whatever reason, the wind had come up too much or something, we'd end up down there. And it's just a handy thing to have, or to launch, or to pick up, kayaks or whatever you got. And I had a jet ski breakdown down there. I had to get it out, and that was a spot. When the north wind's blowing, it's really hard to get up against the wind up to the boat ramp. The other boat ramp
I guess basically I don't want to take up a lot of time and stuff. Pretty much I read the letters, and there was one from Hazel, and I didn't agree with some of the stuff because it was kind of made the sporting people sound like they were a little aggro against locals or something, which I don't think is the case. But it was good. I thought it made a lot of sense. And then the Browns, I don't know them, but that was pretty much exactly how I feel. I think there's not a problem, and I think if anything, it should be not developed as a attraction, but to where people can still use it. The locals can still use it, and it's it's been going on forever without a problem, I think. And talking about all the stuff, the points they made, I thought were totally disputable. Like, I don't think you can even get to their dock by going down there. You have to climb through the brush or swim over there, as far as I can tell. And a lot of other points. It just, anyway, I just want to go on record of keeping it like it is. I think it makes sense to keep them from driving down there with signage and maybe, no overnight stuff. But anyway, that's
All right.
my 2 cents.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, thanks.
How are you this evening?
Pretty good.
Good.
My name's John Myers. I discovered Floras Lake in 1990 via...
Seat, sir, so we can hear you at the microphone, sorry.
Okay. John Myers, I discovered Floras Lake. It's a real jewel in 1990. I took a windsurfing lesson off of Will Brady. He was just starting out then. And I became a landowner in Curry County in 2000 and became a full-time resident in 2015, and we're now here. I've learned 4 wind water sports in Floras Lake, and I just spend a lot of time there. I wish there was a map. You guys familiar with Floras Lake and the access point we're talking about? Okay, because it's really important. The location is key. As Norm was saying, it's kind of a southern access, and the boat ramp now is a northern access. And the wind blows a lot at Floras Lake, and it blows a lot from the north to the south, and it picks up really fast. So boats get stranded down there a lot. I've been stranded down there. And for years, it was about 5 years before I realized it was even a public access. And I got blown down there, take my gear, my windsurf gear at that point, and you can see the notch. When you're in the water, you see houses, docks, steep cliffs, and then you see a little notch there. And so I wash in there. I carry my stuff up the hill, walk back to my car, park there, get my stuff. And since this time now, fast forward 30 years, I've used that point to take people who aren't strong paddlers out there, because like I said, Floras Lake is a jewel. Those southern inlets are beautiful, but unless you're a really good paddler, you can't go that far, especially if there's wind. So if you close the access, you're going to eliminate a lot of access for a lot of people. And that, because that point there is really, even in Southwind, you can still get around the corner or go even into the inlets. I don't know, there really hasn't been too many bad accidents on the water. If there have been, the Bradys are usually there. But if something's going to happen, it's going to happen pretty much at the south end of the lake, because that's when people are on the water and that's where the wind is a bit worst. And, that's where you can really get somebody out. It's easy to get to. So that's about it. It's easy to see when you're on the water. I paddled by there this night. I'm on the water a lot. At Floras Lake, I paddle. I do all the other sports too. But you can see the notch. My time's up. You can see the notch there when you're floating in the water. Like I said, it's cliffs, docks, and so if you close that off, my suggestion is just leave it the way it is. Put signs up if it is a problem. This year was unique. There's a problem at the end of Boyce Cope. There were cars lined up overnight this summer, so it's kind of a unique summer. So I'm sure there might have been people down there. I've never seen campfire there. Never seen smoke. never seen people camping there, and I paddle around the lake a lot. That's not saying they're not there, you know, because I don't get there early in the morning.
Right.
Well, thanks a lot for listening to me.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Julie, is there anyone else? No, that's it. All right. So with that, public comments are closed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further, Mr. Christensen?
Well, just listening to everybody's concerns, I think we can meet everybody's needs that were here, except for the parking. And I think the person wasn't really asking for parking, they were just talking about that. And so,
I even think the last two guys that were up there, they want still public access, which
I think everybody did.
he's saying leave it like it is, but we would still be providing public access. He'd still be able to get out of there and get his gear out of there. He'd just have to have somebody meet him at the road and pick him up.
Right, but a lot of our complaints have to do with people getting stuck down there, can't turn around, they gotta use customers' driveways. Now customers are putting gates on their driveways or ropes across them, and people can't just get around. And so my thing is, that if it was like a newer subdivision, we would require some type of a turnaround.
Right.
And so I think really the answer is to make it safe for, like, even if our emergency vehicle goes down there, that we develop some kind of a turnaround. It's our right of way, and I think that's something we could do for folks.
Okay.
Just quickly, the Smiths that you brought up, the bequeathing, you mentioned swimming, docks, picnic areas, of course fishing. None of those require a vehicle. Great place to walk in, picnic, walk in, swim. So I think you have figured out a way to solve it, probably.
Right.
Keep everyone happy.
You know, and there's bed and breakfast there, and, you know, the rentals, and people like to walk down there, so, you know, I don't think we're looking at making it a fully developed site with restrooms or anything. It's just, you know, local use mostly.
I just want to make sure I understand. Would we want to close roads off then, except for the private property owners? Is that what we're?
Well, right. No, we're gonna close it off to everybody. But what we're gonna do
The roads?
is, right now, the road is, it tees off and goes down to the lake. And it's pretty steep through there, and people get stuck. And so what I'm proposing to do is pave like 50 feet of that and put a bar gate, like a logging road bar gate on the end of it, so ODFW can get in and out. We'll put like a wishbone on the lock, so road department can have it locked, and so can ODFW. And that would create that T turnaround and for folks to get around, but still there'd be like an opening where folks could walk down to the lake. And what we would do is we would post the right-of-way so people know where the right-of-way is. And if the customers want, the adjacent property owners, if they want to put no trespassing signs on their property, that's up to them. But at least folks will know what the county owns.
Right. Okay. So you want to bring back a thing for the board for our next meeting?
I think if you just gave me approval to do it, I'll just get it done.
So we can't make a decision at the meeting, of course, but so Rich, maybe if you just want to put together some plans or some design, we could perhaps approve it by an order. That way, at least it's documented that way, that there was action and what that action was.
Okay, I'll try to get something to you here next month and present it to the board.
Okay. Yeah, I think we have to do that. It's taxpayer money and that, so I think we owe the public that.
I think we could even do it under consent agenda since we did have a workshop
Yeah.
on it.
Yep.
And just.
So if you could put something together for the next meeting, I think the board may be ready to do that, so.
I'll see what the local surveyors
All righty.
do. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. With that, nothing further? Meeting's adjourned.